Welcome to my madness, ladies and gentlemen. Today we're going to take a look at this figure right here. We have got a DC Direct Justice League Superman. Now this is New 52 Justice League. Now a lot of people don't like this costume. It's okay, honestly. Like it's all right. It's an okay update. Not the classic, not what I prefer, but you know, it's a version of Superman I don't have. That's basically what it boils down to. I mean, that's ultimately what we come down on. Is this was one I don't have yet. So, as a Superman fan and collector, this is one that I wanted to pick up. So we've got the package here, and we can see here the other figures from that Justice League set. And again, these are all like the New 52 versions of those characters. I think this came out, I want to say mid 2010s, but I'm not sure on that. But honestly, doesn't really matter. We're gonna go ahead, crack it open, see what we've got, see if this is something that would work for a modern collection. Is this something that's gonna look good on your shelf today, or is it just too antiquated and just something you can't live with? Let's go ahead, get inside this thing and see what we've got. All right, so here we have him all set up, and he looks pretty good. Just as far as overall sculpt and deco and everything, I like what they did here. Very accurate to the source material as far as, you know, the whole New 52 thing and that whole line, you know, Justice League War and a lot of that kind of stuff. I think it looks really good. Great head sculpt. One of the best New 52 head sculpts I have seen. I love the metallic paint on the belt and on the S symbol there. You've got lots of nice texturing and detail there on the boots and all down on the suit. And again, very, very accurate to the source material. Got the black S there on the back. The cape is soft, and I like it because it's not really pre-posed. I'm not a big fan of the pre-posed capes, and I think that works really well. Now, as far as articulation, this DC Direct figure, so not much going on here. So you've got back and forth here. You've got single jointed knees. You've got nothing here in the torso or the waist or anything else like that. You've got single jointed elbows, which only come up that far. You do have bicep swivels there, and then you do have your standard joint comes up to there with rotation and everything. Head is on a ball joint, but he don't look up. He looks down really well, but he doesn't look up. And for Superman, that's kind of a disappointment. I don't know why he doesn't. Superman doesn't need to look down like that. He needs to be able to look up if you're going to put him in a flying pose. Now, granted, with the articulation on this guy here, you're not going to be putting him in a lot of flying poses anyway. So maybe that was their line of thought. Still, if you're going to put the ball joint there and you're going to put the cut in the base of the neck, why not put the cut to where he can look up instead of look down? It just doesn't make any sense. Otherwise, what's the point? You're never going to pose him looking straight down at his chest, so doesn't really make much sense there. However, for my purposes, it works fine. I don't have a problem with the lack of articulation on these figures. I love the sculpt on this thing. I love the deco on this thing, and that is where DC Direct stuff shines, is sculpt and deco as opposed to articulation. For me, that works. For you, it might not. I don't know, but I do like the way it looks. I love just the overall like silhouette this thing cuts and everything they put into this figure as far as just giving it good shelf presence, which is what I'm after on this. And I think they did a good job at that. Looks good. Let's go ahead. We're going to throw some other figures up, do a comparison, compare him to some other lines, and see if at all this fits in with other lines, and if it does, what lines it looks best with. All right, so first up, let's compare it to a couple of Mattel offerings here. So on the left, we've got DC Unlimited New 52 Superman, and on the right, we've got the Mattel DC Multiverse Dark Knight Superman. Now, both are very different in style and size and everything, and they're from different eras of when Mattel was doing figures. And I will say, even for something that's based off of the DC-UC, you know, buck, this thing is still actually even pretty small for a DC-UC figure. So probably not the best example, but I want to show you they're offering for a new 52 Superman. And then as Mattel moved later on, they started getting bigger with their figures, which of course we can see here. Now that is a big figure anyway, but it gives you a better kind of accurate look at height and scale as Mattel was moving on. And you see these two, as far as height, work really well together. These two obviously don't. All right, so now we've got another DC Direct offering here. I can't remember which one this is. This buck was used many times by DC Direct. He's a little bit shorter than our new 52 version. Then we've got our Mafex Steel, which is right at about the same height. These two look really good together. These two a little bit off. Part of that's the styling on this one and the fact that this is a considerably older figure than this one is here. I think they started using this one back in the mid 2000s, if I remember correctly, the first time they released this buck. So it's an older buck, a little bit smaller. This dude's probably only about 6 1/4 inches tall, whereas this guy's probably 6 3/4 inches tall. So you can definitely see a difference there. However, if they were on the display together, are you really going to notice with a bunch of other figures? Probably not. But certainly if you're going to pair this guy with Mafex, it definitely works that way. And then just to compare him with two of the most popular 6-inch scale lines that are out right now, of course, we've got Captain America from Marvel Legends, and we've got the Iron Grenadier from G.I. Joe Classifieds. He's a little taller than both of them. Again, he's a fairly tall figure. Not quite 7-inch scale, but certainly a pretty tall 6-inch scale figure. But again, if you wanted to do, like, I don't know, a Marvel versus DC display, could you use him? I think you still could. All right, so let's talk about price here real quick. I picked this guy up for 20 bucks out the door at a local shop. Is it worth 20 bucks? Absolutely it is, okay? I mean, that's less than what you're gonna pay for a figure going in to Walmart or Target right now at $25. Absolutely it's worth it. And I would say it's worth it up to probably that $25 mark. If you could find him new in package for, you know, anywhere up to 25 bucks, I think he's definitely worth it. It is a fantastic sculpt, fantastic deco. He's a little on the tall side, and articulation is old and antiquated, but if you collect DC Direct figures, that's just part of the game with those. They are not made to be ultimately posable. They are made to be a shelf presence, primarily. So depending on what your reasons are for collecting, this may work, it may not, I don't know. For me, works great. I love this look for him. He's gonna look good on my Superman shelf, and that's what matters to me. I've got a great looking figure that puts out great shelf presence. That's why I picked it up, and I'm gonna get that with this figure. So I do definitely think it's worth it, but I would love to hear what you guys think down in the comment section down below. Let me know. I appreciate you guys watching, and always remember to enjoy your collection.